Are we good? All right. Hey, Shalom.
Shalom.
All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash. A double honor to the apostles, the elders. Salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and in sincerity. I'm Abaya and to my love.
Matthew.
Okay, and Lord will, this is an edifying lesson. We're just basically going into prophecy and how prophecy deals with saying things before, going into events before these events transpire on earth. And the reason why we're able to do that via the Holy Spirit. Now, the topic for this lesson will actually be, and I will start in Joel 2 and 20, just to get that title, and it states, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate. All right, you want to start with the first precept?
This is Joel 3 and verse 2. It says, I will also gather all nations that will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
All right, now start over. Now read that again from the top.
This is Joel 3 and 2. Right. It says, I will also gather all nations.
Now, the I is referring to who? Yahweh Hashem Al-Shai. All right, he controls everything that transpires or every transactions within the kingdom of men. All right, go ahead.
It says, and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat.
Right, now when you go into that term, that means Yahweh's judgment. Okay, go ahead.
And will plead with them there for my people.
Right, and that plead is actually going into judge in the Hebrew. Go ahead.
And for my heritage Israel,
right,
whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land.
Right, so World War III will transpire, point blank period. And the reason why that has to happen, partial or an angle for that, is because the Most High is going to judge these other nations for what they have did to our nation. Because all these nations has also benefit and done wicked according to our nation. Right. All right, being led by Esau, Edom at this time frame. Okay. Yeah, get that on.
All right. This is an article from CNN, and it actually was Tuesday, December 21st when it came out. I'm gonna kind of go down to a few articles here. Pull it up.
Full paragraph.
Yeah. None of the pictures popping up now. Okay, there you go. All right, so it says here. Okay. Slide here.
You're good. Let's just say.
Let me see. I'll read it because it's slowing down. All right, so back going to this article, it goes into you know, I'm gonna start up here.
Go ahead.
It says okay. Is it the same one?
Yeah, it's the same one.
Okay. Now this is going into the crisis that's going on, or the beef that's going on. It says, checkmate, Putin has the West cornered. All right. And if you just read up here, it says Putin blames West for tensions amid fears of Russian invasion of Ukraine. Now we go down a little further here. It says, now we're going by the pictures, but the pictures ain't popping up anymore. Okay. I'm gonna start it. Okay. It says, tensions are now at the highest since 2014 when Russia illegally annexed Crimea and dispatched little green men into Ukraine, Donbass region. An all-out invasion of Ukraine is now a real possibility. All right.
You want to answer that, bro?
Hey, like you said, it's a real possibility. One of the things where it's a real possibility is you see that Russia is looking to absorb Ukraine and become what the USSR again. And now, what is America doing? Trying to say no. We want you to become a part of NATO to basically avoid Russia from expanding. Now, Russia is saying don't expand towards the east, NATO, because the thing is you'll be right off the border. And now you're having NATO telling Russia don't build troops up in the border, and that's causing conflict. All right, and it's like this thing was moving a little slower, and I was looking for that chess piece, but it's up here.
Yeah, it's switched around.
It switched around.
Yeah, but the importance of the article is based on that how this road or this incident will actually lead into World War III. Okay, I'm gonna get Joel 2:20, and it says but I will remove far off from you the northern army, and the I is who? Yahweh Shem Al Shah.
Right.
The northern army. That's talking about America. Okay, and will drive him into a land barren and desolate. This land that is barren and desolate, that's referring to what? The Middle East, right? With his face toward the East Sea, going into the Euphrates, and his hinder part toward the utmost sea, and that's referring to the Red Sea, right? And his stink shall come up, and his ill savor shall come up, because he has done great things. So Yahweh Shem Ashah is going to judge.
That's right.
Okay, in this area we call Middle East, and the event is called what? World War III. All right? Yeah, please go ahead, bro.
It says as 2022 nears, West is trying to figure out Russian President Vladimir Putin's next move in a complex geopolitical chessboard as preparing an aggressive package of sanctions should he decide to make another land grab in Ukraine. Tensions are now the highest since 2014 when Russia illegally annexed Crimea and dispatched little green men into Ukraine's Donbass region, an all-out invasion. An all-out invasion of Ukraine is now a real possibility. All right? And I'm going to go on down here a little further.
Go ahead.
And it says, if you have any doubt about Putin planning to roll back the clock, just read 5,000 words. In Russia, Belarus and Ukraine are doomed without closure, integrating with Mother Russia. And it says, and the Adiosius demands Friday for the veto of who joins the NATO alliance and limits the stationing troop and weaponry in any country which joins the alliance after 1997. And like you said, it's basically going into NATO, having these limits and stationing troops in the country, right? Yeah, I'm sweating. So they're basically stationing troops and trying to set up for them to be in the land of Ukraine, and Russia is letting them know that if you come and it's going to be hostile. If you keep building your troops while we're building our troops off the border.
Right.
So what is that going to cause? It's going to cause World War III, which looks like it's imminent now, which we know that, like I say, through the scriptures, but now we're seeing it, we're living it.
Got a precept for you. Revelation 11:14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe come quickly.
What was that second woe? You had World War I, World War II. They actually happened right behind one another. Now you have this period of time where World War III is happening.
That's right.
And like you said, it's coming quickly. And we're going to see that happening, like you say, definitely look, it's going to happen in our lifetime. The way the tension is happening here, Russia said they're going to basically start their action into moving into Ukraine within this upcoming year, within probably January and February. So we're finna see some action starting to happen.
Right. Hey, this is Isaiah 13:17. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it.
Hey, You think Russia's gonna be looking for certain gold and things like this?
Mm-hmm.
No, they're looking for power.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing about it, they feel like America is abusing their power.
Right.
All the way from the west, and they're way over here in the east, and they're basically trying to give demands. And now you having, as we went into camp last night, those hooks that it says in Ezekiel, with Ezekiel 38,
Yep.
turning the bareback.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's gonna cause what? Them to say no, we're gonna stop America. Okay, stop Babylon. So what that's gonna happen is you're gonna have all out war, and like you said, the priest Yash went in earlier last night. They're gonna start coming at allies of America that's over in the West.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if you messing with someone and you keep poking at them, but you got your homeboy like you mentioned earlier, you across down across town, and you got somebody that's next door, and you keep poking at them. Eventually, if they can't get to you, they're gonna probably punch your ally.
Yeah, they're gonna get somebody close to you,
Mhm.
right? Hey, this is Ezekiel 38, verse 1. And the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set your face against Gog, the land of Magog, right? The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him. So who is God? Let's talk about Russia.
Right.
And I want to say Magog is South Russia. The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, that's going into the land of Turkey, and prophesy against him, and say, Thus saith the Lord power, Behold, I am against you, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal. Now, when you go into that term, chief prince in the Hebrew, it means a leader. Okay? Verse 4, to back your point up, bro. And I will turn you back and put hooks into your jaws, and I will bring you forth and all your army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords.
When you hear that bucklers and shit, that's like from old school. Yeah, clink, 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 clink. All that is starting to happen. Like say you turn, that's the old USSR. You know, United with the Soviet, something of Russia. That's what it is. It's basically they're looking to regain power.
Yeah.
All right, and when Putin been doing that since he became in office, and that's been some years now, and they're looking to do what? Become power. So one thing about it, when you start to see a currency or some collapsing like the dollar, then you see that's the power loss. Okay, what is Amschel Rothschild? If I'm not mistaken, he said, "Give me the money I care not who make the laws."
That's right.
So they're not, but Russia's not going to regard their gold or what have you. They're coming to do what? Destruction, because they want the power. They want to basically knock America out the way. And when the whore is starting to lose its power, then the beast is riding upon it's going to do what? They're going to basically turn on them because, like you said, they're right over in the east with Russia, and they're going to probably get banged on first.
Right.
I got that article too.
When you go into the term USSR, it means Union of Soviet Socialist Republic. All right.
And that's what they're looking to come back. They're coming back to do what? Unite and come back to that power again.
All right, can I read a little more? It says Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with all of them with shield and helmet. Gomer and all his bands, the house of Tugarma of the north quarters and all his bands, and many people with you. Be you prepared, and prepare for yourself, you and all your company that are assembled unto you, and be you a guard unto them. Hence Ukraine.
Yep. And one of the big parts, he said, hey, Turkey. Ain't that Togomar? Yeah, Turkey. That's going to be a big play in it too. Because once you see Turkey turn, then you're going to see a lot of the shift. But like you said, you're going to have Russia is pushing towards coming to like the USSR spirit within the next few months. So we're going to see a lot of turmoil. We made, like you say, we had the proxy wars, we had the trade wars. Now we're getting into the real hot war. All right, and all this coming around with the MOTP and everything. I got that article too.
Go ahead, bro.
This is back in that article. I don't know why I was acting up earlier. It says Putin and Russia was looking for equal and uh, indivisible security throughout the Eurasian space, but suggested that even long-term legal binding guarantees cannot be trusted because the United States easily withdraws from all international treaties, for one reason or another becomes interesting to them.
Want to add to it?
Done. Hey, like you said, we've seen that done with Esau back when he broke all the treaties. Doing what? During the time when he came over here and decimated the Native Americans, the Gadites. Now, within international waters, he's doing what? He's basically breaking all the rules again. And now you having these other countries that's basically putting a hold on it. Like, hold up, you basically breaking every treaty and you don't even stay over here. All right. It says, citing a Russian diplomat. Okay. It says, citing a Russian diplomat, the Russian state news in the RIA Novosti report Tuesday that Moscow and Washington have begun contact over security guarantees Putin is seeking. It says military security talks between U.S. and Russia delegations are currently underway in Vienna, and there is a possibility both sides will reach an understanding.
Yeah, and that's the point. So there's not going to be an understanding, although they're having these talks, because for prophecy's sake, right? This is going to lead into World War III. All right, that's the end result of this, World War III.
Yep.
Right.
I'm gonna jump here. It says, however, U.S. President Biden has consistently signaled that the U.S. will not make any concessions or either NATO or Ukraine's future.
And now, when I go back to Isaiah 13 and 18, their bows also regarding Russia shall dash the young men to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare the children. So once Yahweh Shemashah activate his spirit for Russia to send missiles over here, they're not going to give a damn about these kids, all right? And these hand babies and these toddlers and so on and so forth.
Right.
Why? Because the spirit of war that Yahweh Shemashah is going to put on Russia, they're going to be like madmen as well. Right?
The gold and everything. Kids, the gold, they're not gonna care.
That's right.
They look for strict destruction.
That's it. And Babylon, which is what? Modern day America, right? The glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees, excellency shall be as when the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. How so? With fire. Okay? And it's the same technology, but this time it's going to be nuclear fire, right? Verse 20, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelled in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, talk about their businesses, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. But the point is that once America is destroyed or has been hit by nuclear fire, it will never be lived on again, man. All right? You have something, my brother?
This is Joel 2 and verse 20. It says, but I will remove far off from the northern army and will drive him into a land barren and desolate.
And the northern army is talking about America, all right, being drove or driven into the Middle East. Go ahead, bro.
And will drive him into a land barren and desolate.
The Middle East.
With his face towards the East Sea.
Euphrates.
And his hinder parts towards the utmost sea.
And that's the Red Sea. Go ahead, bro.
And his stink shall come up, and his ill savior shall come up, because he has done great things.
So what would cause your body to stink? Death. Death. Okay? That's what's going to cause your body to stink. That's letting you know, for prophecy's sake, that these so-called Americans as Edomites, once they get over there, Yahweh Shemashah is going to bring great judgment.
That's right.
Right?
We just read it bring down to the Valley of Jehoshaphat. This is going to happen once, like I say, the armies and the war starts. Where? In the Valley of Jehoshaphat.
And what's the Valley of Jehoshaphat, bro? Break that down.
Yahweh Shaphat.
That's
All
right.
right. It's the Most High's judgment. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So he's coming, like we read it earlier, to plead for his people, to judge for what? The wrongdoing for his people.
Mm-hmm.
And these are all the nations, actually, starting with Esau, Edom, are the ones that basically put horrendous slavery on us. They, you had the other nations that came together to do what they can to cut us off from knowing our power.
Mm-hmm.
So Esau continued to reign upon the earth.
Mm-hmm.
All right, which we know scripturally, we went off as a nation, but like he says in Zechariah 1:15, the Lord is so sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease. All right, because you have done so much, and now you're still at ease, like it's no problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and that's where he's pleading. He was like, okay, with all the atrocities you've done, we're gonna bring the Lord is gonna rain hell, starting at the Valley of Jehoshaphat.
Mm-hmm. All right, I got a precept for you. And this is Isaiah 55:11. So shall my word be that go forth out of my mouth. It shall not return unto me void.
Okay, and what are we leading? We through the prophecy. All right, we live in Revelations 19:10. Okay, we live in the spirit of prophecy. And how are we speaking of prophecy? Like you mentioned earlier when the lesson started, it's to say before.
Mm-hmm.
And how do we know a lot of these things that we're saying before? Because our eyes have been opened through the scriptures. Okay, because the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushua has opened our eyes.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and you still got that. Go to Revelation 19.
All right. Can I? Okay.
Oh, go it out. Isaiah 55. You can keep going on that.
You know what? Since it's gonna be a quick here, I'm just gonna knock you back in that. Like you said. All right. This is Revelation 19:10. And I fell at his feet to worship him, and he said unto me, see you do it not. I am your fellow servant and of your brethren that have the testimony of Yahushua. Worship the Most High, for the testimony of Yahushua is the spirit of prophecy.
Yep, that testimony. We're testifying through Yahweh Shem Yahushua because we're speaking through the spirit of prophecies. Now, how are we speaking that? The prophets are what? To say before. So we're the mouthpiece of the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
So since we're the mouthpiece of the Lord and he gave us the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, as you referring to Isaiah 33, around the 6th verse, that wisdom and knowledge and understanding is the stability of our time. Mm-hmm. And it's our duty to push out these things and let you know what's happening, to say before, okay? And the Lord said his words are not going to come back void. So what we're coming out and projecting out, what the Lord has said he's about to do through prophecy, we're starting to see it happen. And we're starting to have, and we have faith that his words are not going to come back void.
Mm-hmm. You know what? Since you said that, I'll finish up Isaiah 55:11. Back in Isaiah 55 and verse 11. But it shall accomplish that which I please, and it shall prosper in the thing whereto I sent it.
Hey, it should come to him where he pleased. So it pleased the Lord to see, it's going to please the Lord to see Babylon be destroyed. It's going to please the Lord to have the dead bodies in the Valley of Jehoshaphat. It's his judgment, all right? And it's going to please the Lord. It's going to please the council in heaven. And it's all, and like you said, going back, it's all starting with what? We're starting to see the bickering and the boasting from these powers of the world. You have, like you say, the U.S., you have Russia, and then you have, like you say, the other allies amongst, both sides. So this is going to happen regardless. Like you say, what manner of man will you be in these times? In these times, we're going to see death in the street, like you say. And we just went, like you say, the Valley of Jehoshaphat, you're going to see that stench coming up. But it's going to happen here in America, all right? Like you said, these businesses, like you say, the Arabian pensionary tent here, come over here, get money, grants, and they get to build buildings. And then you have the nation of Israel is already here, and what they give us? Debt, turmoil, stress, death. Esau raped, robbed, and murdered for hundreds of years. And he did too much. So it's a time out. And the Lord is preparing that over in the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right.
Mm-hmm. I got a question for you. Did you keep the spirit keep popping on you about what these other nations has done?
Mm-hmm.
I got you.
And let's not forget those gutter rests over there, because like you say, if America don't budge, the Lord is gonna put a spirit on them to make a move, and America's gonna step in for them.
Yeah. And this is Revelation 11:8. And their dead bodies shall lie in the street of that great city, which is spiritually called Sodom and Egypt.
What is that? The dead bodies. Who dead bodies? That's the nation of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
You so-called Black, Latinos, and Native Americans. We are throughout scattered throughout the other nation as well.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Spiritually dead at one point of time. All right.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not talking about the elect, okay?
Nope.
Where also our Lord was crucified.
Hey, our Lord was X'd out here, right?
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They did away with him.
Iconoclasm.
Iconoclasm.
Yeah. And then, like you say, now it's about science. It's not even about so-called Jesus even anymore. Which he had nothing to do with our Lord Yahushua.
Right.
But like the brother saying, that's still a form of him being crucified.
Mm-hmm.
He's being X'd out, you know. The true revelation of Yahushua has been X'd out up until the time frame when Abba Bivens began to forerun for him again, and in the 60s. I think it was like 1969, 1970. All right, now I'm gonna keep going. Verse 9, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies 3 days and a half, and shall not allow their dead bodies to be put in the graves.
And what, the 3 days and a half is
350 years. Right.
Okay.
Right.
So now, and like you say, the Arabian pinch tent, they've seen how we've been going on. Matter of fact, I just saw somewhere saying, I know it's kind of off, but Kid and Play. Kid. He was, dad was a Jamaican, his mom was Edomite. His mom died when he was 9 in a car wreck. Her and her girlfriend, and he was 9 and he survived. But he went and basically say, they looked at Jake will accept everyone. So-called blacks will accept, but when he went over, you have a little speck of what they call black in you.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, his other side of the family won't accept you.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So when the Arabians came and pitched 10 here, you have these other countries that look it up, that like these other nationalities move over here to Babylon, and they look at us and they look down upon us because they know that basically we're basically the lowest of the low here.
Right. To prove your point, and they of the people and kindreds and tongues and nations shall see their dead bodies, meaning what? These other nations also assisted or played a role with the Edomites for our downfall.
That's right.
And they continue to assist the nation of Edom to oppress our people, right? So when you jump down to verse 10, and they that dwell upon the earth shall rejoice over them and make merry, and shall send gifts one to another. And the gifts was our people through the format of slavery, right? Because these two prophets tormented them that dwell on the earth. And who are the two prophets? The southern and the northern kingdom, man. All right, so that's the reason why they will be gathered, okay, to the Middle East, all right, the valley of Jehoshaphat, and Yahweh Hashem Ashah is going to bring dire judgment, man.
I got a quick for you.
Go ahead, bro.
Psalms 83 verse 2, it says, for lo, thine enemies make a tumult, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
Yeah, see, all these other nations, they hate us, man. I mean, and how have they lifted up the head? Meaning the Most High has put them in that power seat. All right, beginning with Esau, Edom, because it's his kingdom, and these other nations are allied or have aligned forces with Esau.
That's right.
All right, so these other nations are Esau's joint heirs, man. They are the only ones that benefit, all right, within Esau's rulership.
Right.
Go ahead, bro.
Verse 3, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
Mm-hmm.
and consulted against the hidden one.
Right, and who are the hidden ones? The nation of Israel. All right. Also, we can be identified as the true blue blood, right? Because when you think about your blood, it's actually blue before air hits it. All right. So we're the hidden gems, All right, we're the most known unknowns, man, up until now. Through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shah, now we have became a fucking problem, man.
Yep.
All right? You
Like
want
I
to
said
add something,
before,
bro?
1969, we were dead.
Yeah.
So when you see something and you just walking over it, you're not paying attention. You know, these other nations, when they had brought us low. They had consulted with Esau, and they had brought us low to do what? Walk over it. But now, like I say, going back to Ezekiel, the bones are becoming flesh. Like you say, during starting the time with Abba Bivens up until now. Now we're starting to gain weight, and that is starting to bring fear upon Esau and other nations.
Right.
A lot of Esau. All right, because it says, verse 3, they have taken the crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against the hidden ones. They have said, come and let us cut them off from being a nation.
Meaning what? To if you cut off something, that means to eradicate it. And if you eradicate something, that means you're trying to eliminate that nation from the root. All right, by killing the men 1st. Right? Go ahead, bro.
And it says that that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance.
Right, and this concept or this agenda begins with the nobility of Edom, right? Because they understand who we are, and they're thinking from a carnality or a carnal standpoint that if we destroy these people, right, then the blessing, we will inherit that blessing, which is the kingdom of heaven, right? Which would never fucking happen because it's set up in the spirit for us to have that blessing.
Yep.
Right, and they know this, and that's the reason why everything is moving fast. That's the reason why Esau is going to bring that second shutdown. That's the reason why you're hearing rumors of wars. And when you go into that term rumor, it means what? Circulating stories. Right. So all these circulating stories will eventually lead to the event of World War III. But prior to that second major prophecy to unfold, you have to have the lay potato chip. Okay.
Going back to the article, it's not gonna, like they said, they're gonna have that meeting. It's gonna be no reconciliation. You know, so like you said, the prophecies are moving fast, and like you said, these other nations that we just read that's coming together against the nation of Israel to cut us off. Those are the nations that's gonna be in the valley of Jehoshaphat. That's who's gonna be judged.
Jump to Luke 16-19. You have something, bro?
Oh,
get Luke 16-19.
This is Luke 16.
And this further proves how these other nations are allies with Esau. Go ahead, bro.
Verse Luke 16-19. There were a certain rich man which was clothed in purple and fine linen and fared sumptuously every day. And there was a certain beggar named Lazarus, which was laid at his gate full of sores.
Right. So Lazarus, this is first and foremost, it's a parable, right? So Lazarus is a representation of the nation of Israel, right? Beginning with the elect. And this rich man is a representation of the nobility of Edom, beginning with the international bankers. And the reason why this man was dripped out in purple, because that shows royalty. We are within his rulership. Go ahead, bro.
Verse 21. And desiring to be fed with crumbs which fell from the rich man's table.
Making a living. You know what I'm saying? Just trying to get that daily bread. Go ahead.
Moreover, the dogs came and licked his sores.
Now, who are the dogs? The dogs will talk about these other nations. Licking the sores, meaning what? They have profited off of the curses. That's why when you go into Jake neighborhoods, you see Chinese restaurants. That's why when you go into Jake neighborhoods, you see so-called Arabs running gas stations, or Elam, which are East Indians, running the gas stations. You know, or fucking Moab having weave shops. And so on and so forth. See, these other nations profit, you know what I'm saying, from the curses, and that's why they're successful. You know, they're not getting robbed and things of that nature in Jake neighborhoods. Why? Because basically the curses does not affect them. You want to add something?
You just mentioned they come to the Jake neighborhood with the convenience stores and all this, but they don't live in your neighborhood. When they get through with their business, they job for that day, they drive back over across town where Esau stays.
That's right. That's right. Or they can go to like a so-called black college and get minority grants. I'm serious. I'm serious. Look it up.
Come on, bro.
Whatever, man. Let's go. Let's get it, man.
Boy, he's so wicked, bro.
Yeah, man.
This is back in Luke 16 and 22. And it came to pass that the beggar died
Right.
and was carried by the angels into Abraham's bosom.
Mm-hmm.
The rich man also died and was buried.
Mm-hmm.
And in hell he lifted up his eyes, being in torment, and see Abraham afar off and Lazarus in his bosom.
Mm-hmm. Now, Abraham's bosom is a reflection of what? The kingdom of heaven. Right? Go ahead, bro.
Verse 24. And he cried and said, Father Abraham, have mercy on me, and send Lazarus that he may dip the tip of his finger in water.
And the reason why he's in hell, because now he's catching hell from all these curses.
Mm-hmm.
That's the reason why. He's catching hell from all these curses. See, Esau's heaven is our hell and vice versa.
Right.
Right? Well, go ahead, bro.
It says, and cool my tongue, for I am tormented in this flame.
Mm-hmm.
And Abraham said, Son, remember that thou in thy lifetime,
right, in your kingdom,
receivest thy good things.
You was blessed, right? Because really, if you think about it, the only people that are blessed within Esau's kingdom is actually the nobility of Edom. You know, when you go into that term, blessed, Apostle Tahar always has broke it down. It means what? To bow down before a person.
Right.
So basically, they're the they're the only individuals blessed within their kingdom. However, it does trickle down to Esau's less counterparts, right?
Hey, like this is what we're going into. Esau, you got to think, he's up there sitting at the table, and we're down here, and the dogs, the other nations are down here with us, but they get to roam around. We're down here suffering. You know, now the shoe's on the other foot.
And what proves your point? Psalms, the 83rd chapter, because when it talks about our enemies, it begins with the nation of Edom.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And Moab, they wash spot, go right behind them.
Yeah.
It says, Abraham said, Son, remember thou in thy lifetime receivest thy good things, and likewise Lazarus evil things.
Right, right.
But now he is comforted, and thou art tormented.
And the reason why he's comforted is because we're going to be in the kingdom of heaven. And the reason why the nation of Edom is going to be tormented, because our heaven makes it their hell by default. Now, going into that beggar, 1 Samuel 2 and 8, he raised up the poor out of the dust and lift up the beggar from the dunghill. True story of from rags to riches. All right, to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory, for the pillars of the earth are the Lord Yahweh, and he has set the world upon them. You know what? Let me read it again. I'm going to start at verse 7. 1 Samuel 2 and 7. The Lord Yahweh make poor and make rich. He bring low and lift up. Going into that parable. All right. So now, according to that parable, and you can equate this precept with that, 1 Samuel 2 and 7, the Lord Yahweh make poor and make rich. So in our kingdom, we're going to be made rich. In our kingdom, Esau is going to be made poor. He bring low and lift up. In our kingdom, Esau will be brought low and we will be lifted up, right? Verse 8, he raised up the poor out of the dust, right? Talking about us, dust is symbolic for what? Confusion.
Right.
Being spiritually dead, right? And lift up the beggar from the dunghill to set them among princes and to make them inherit the throne of glory, for the pillars of the earth are the Lord Yahweh's, and he has set the world upon them.
That goes right with it.
That's it. That's it.
Hey, because like, what is the scripture? See servants riding upon horses. You know, it's
Book of Ecclesiastes. You want that one?
Good.
Okay.
Hey, and because we see Esau, he's like you say, the dust, like it says in Isaiah 47, it's gonna be no throne for Esau. Okay, it says sit down in the dust, Babylon. And who's the power of Babylon today? Who's the modern day Pharaoh? Esau, Edom. So when you see Esau, he's actually is running the show. When you look, we just going into U.S. and Russia. The hell, regardless, they're Edomites. So let's let you know the two powers that are basically going combating one another, going against one another, are the powers of the world, Esau, Edom.
That's right.
So the ones that are actually running the world now is gonna be just a complete 180. You're gonna have them at the bottom, and then you're gonna have the nation of Israel, starting with Yahweh Yahushua, with Yahushua on sitting on the throne of King David, all right, and on down.
Mm-hmm.
But Esau is gonna be lowly.
Mm-hmm.
But right now he's like you say, horsepower. He's the hammer of the earth.
No. This is and then when you go into that term hammer in the Hebrew, it means what? A devastator,
Mm-hmm.
right? Ecclesiastes 10:6. Folly is set in great dignity, and the rich sit in low place.
The rich sit in low place.
Mm-hmm.
Revelations 2 and 9.
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
they we are rich.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and who's running the world is the synagogue of Satan.
That's right. That's right. Verse 7. I have seen servants upon horses and princes walking as servants upon the earth.
Now, when you say servants upon horses, when you look at a car, that's a sign of power. When you look at a car, what do you say? It's 500 horsepower.
Oh, that's right.
It shows a sign of power. If you ever seen a horse run, it looks like per power.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So he's seen servants upon horsemen. So he's seen servants that are in power.
Mm-hmm.
Esau is in power. He's supposed to be. He's going to be a servant before, especially in the kingdom, before he destroyed 1,000 years. After the kingdom.
And you had a statue, right? Who was that sitting on that horse?
It wasn't George. It was George Washington.
No,
it was
it was
the one that said something about Gad.
Yeah, you had an Edomite, but you had a Jake.
They were down there.
Yeah,
I remember.
you had Jake on one side of the horse, and you had Gad on the other side. Gad had his gun turned upside down. It may have been. I'm thinking it was Theo Roosevelt.
Yeah.
But Jake had his gun, and the barrel was pointed upward, letting you know that he was down for the cause of Esau. And then you had Gad on the opposite side, and he had his barrel facing down. Gad wasn't with that shit. But that fulfills this prophecy. I have seen servants upon horses, right? Esau, princes walking as servants upon the earth. Gad, right? As well as Judah, as well as the other 12 tribes, or the other 10 tribes.
Yasharallah.
That's right.
You've seen the prince of the power walking.
Right. Verse 8. He that dig a pit shall fall into it.
And Esau dig the big ass pit.
And whoso break in hedge, a serpent shall bite him. And ultimately, that serpent is who? Yahushua.
That's right.
Because when you go into that term serpent, all it means is another form of dragon, which means a king's sense of intelligence, man. All right. Well, I got one more. We can end it unless you have something. All right. I'm gonna get you Jeremiah. 51, verse 8. Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed.
Hey, is this talking about ancient Babylon? No, this is modern day Babylon.
That's right.
Okay, and it said it's been fallen and destroyed. So that means this is something that's gonna happen. Because this is basically sounding like it's past tense. All right, that fourth dimension is showing you that it's already been destroyed.
Ooh, good point. How for her take balm for her pain, if so be she may be healed.
And who's gonna be saying that? Shit, 2/3 can probably be saying
That's
that.
right, bro.
You got the other nations, those dogs that we just read in the parable of Lazarus, the rich man and Lazarus, they're gonna basically be trying to take balm for their pain. Because one thing about America, even though the other country hate America, they're gonna take a loss as well. All right? Because you got to think, their currency, a lot of the currencies are pegged into what? The dollar. So if America go down, you ain't got no more dollar. So basically it's going to be a transition, like it says in Sirach 10. It's going to be transition to power. But when you get the transition to power, you're going to have to start basically all over economically and everything. All right?
Since you said that, Revelation 18:9, and the kings of the earth who have committed fornication and lived deliciously with her shall bewail her and lament for her when they shall see the smoke of her burning.
Yep. And we said you're gonna see the valley of Jehoshaphat, the stench over there. And here it's gonna be no so-called human life. All right, you're gonna have those desert beasts that's gonna be coming roaming around here in Babylon the Great.
Mm-hmm.
So everything, the elements, the buildings, all these things is gonna be melted. Just think of that fervent heat as it says in Peter.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be fervent heat.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be completely hot. You thinking when you see something here and it's gonna be so hot that everything is gonna melt. You're gonna have things melting before the fire even get to it.
That's right. That's right. And then going back to your previous point too, and these kings is going to lament for her because they're no longer profiting off of her.
Ooh, God.
You know what I'm saying? Just to back you up.
No,
you
no,
know?
the water. When we went to the Arabian pension
Yeah,
here,
yeah,
you know, they make money when they come here.
yeah.
They live good.
Yeah, America has become a customer.
Mm-hmm.
You know. This is verse 9. We would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go, everyone into his own country. And I just had a neighbor, East Indian, maybe a couple months ago, and shit, he was packing.
Really?
Yeah. He said, man, I'm going back home. That nigga had garbage bags all around his
Oh, it seemed like it was a quick up and run. He trying to get out here for some reason.
I said, hi, how you doing? I was like, yo, what's good? He was like, yeah, I'm going back home.
I'm not.
I'm going back home, fulfilling this prophecy. Let us go, everyone, into his own country.
It's an assimilation I've seen some years ago, going into the 80s and 90s, and you see like it shows America how people was coming, and then it's like what's it called, when the time moving fast, and then when it get to the 2000 like 2000 and on down, then you start seeing the traveling going out of America.
Mm-hmm.
So you, like, to your point, they're actually leaving.
Yeah.
Because they know what's about to go down.
I'm telling you, bro. For her judgment reached into heaven and is lifted up even to the skies, and that's that smoke, man.
Mm-hmm.
All right? The Lord, from that nuclear missiles, those nuclear missiles being brought upon from the event of World War III. The Lord Yahweh has brought forth our righteousness. Come and let us declare in Zion the work of the Lord Yahweh our power. Verse 11, this point. Make bright the arrows, gather the shields. The Lord Yahweh has raised up the spirit of the kings of the Medes, these Russians, right? For his device is against Babylon to destroy it, because it is the vengeance of the Lord Yahweh, the vengeance of his temple.
Woo! Hey, that vengeance. I was that reminded me of Isaiah 63. I was about to pull up Isaiah 63.
If you want to get in with that one,
come.
Yeah. Which one?
You can break it down.
Oh, okay.
I can get it right here. It's Isaiah 63 and verse 4. It says, "For the day of vengeance is mine heart, and the year of my redeem is come."
And this is Isaiah in the spirit, but he's speaking in the spirit as who? Yahweh Shai. All right, because Yahweh Shai is the only one that can redeem us.
That's right.
All right, go ahead, bro.
Verse 5, I looked and there was none to help, and I wondered that there was none to uphold. Therefore my own arm brought salvation unto me, and my fury it upheld me. And I would tread down the people in my anger and make them drunk in my fury.
Right, and so Yahweh Shai is also going to be, or can be classified as a plague on earth. Because plagues brings what? Judgment. For people being wicked. So the Most High is going to send his right hand or his right arm back to judge this place as well, which is Yahweh Shai.
Is it right? And I will bring down the strength of the earth.
And I will bring down the strength of the earth. And who controls the earth? The rulership of Esau, Edom, beginning with their nobility.
Right.
Nobility means highborn, right? Going into these international bankers, going into these elite, I think it's 13 families of these Edomites. They control this entire system. That's why when you go into Revelation, the 13th chapter, it states that he calls all. When you think about it, when it all boils down, the nobility of Edom controls this entire system. You know? Was that it? Hey, Lord will, y'all edified. Look, hey, at the end of the day, we only have two major prophecies, which is that grain of rice, all right, which has to take place before the major event, which is also the second major prophecy, World War III.
That's right.
So Lord will, you're edified. All praises to
Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Hakadash.
A double honor to the apostles, the elders. Salutations to you, sincere brothers, teaching in truth and in sincerity. A shalom.
Shalom.